All right, here we go. Chi.
What's up, baby?
Welcome back.
Thank you, my bro. What's good?
It's been some years.
Yeah, we still here though.
Yeah, I mean, we actually did, I think, your first interview after you got out of prison last time.
Definitely. That was 2012.
Right.
Yeah.
And, for everyone who's watching, you guys can go back and take a look to kind of see some of the
Definitely
raw emotion,
A lot of feedback. That was, I was still new to everything, especially with all the social media stuff. So that was definitely
a
good look.
No doubt, man. My pleasure. And I mean, millions of people watched it.
For sure. I mean, the story got to be told.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and talk about the story again, because you actually have a new documentary out.
Right.
It's called On the Strength, The Fabulous Chi.
Right.
And I saw it. Hell of a documentary.
Thank you.
Very well done.
Thank you.
Very well done. Like, it incorporates all the music and all the old footage and has a lot of the key people as well, man. Very dope documentary.
Thank you.
Hopefully by the time this runs, it's going to be picked up by one of the big
major
distributors.
We've been blessed. It was picked up to premiere in the Beverly Hills Film Festival, which is premiering in tonight, and they put us like red carpet, like prime time on the opening night. So that was definitely an excellent look. We were shooting it since I guess 2014 or 15, maybe 2015, I think. So we kind of been done with most of my footage. We had to, just catch up with certain people. And then it was something my producers was doing on their side. Big shouts to JB and my boy Tom, who did a wonderful job. I mean, they put a lot of work in it. And, when you first get up with dudes, especially when dudes is white, you don't know how they come in and how, how it's going to be. But, like, they've been, like, family, like, for real, like they've embraced me and my family and vice versa, and it's been a dope situation, and it's one of those situations that I'm really glad I accepted.
Yeah, man. Well, let's go ahead and tell the story again.
Well, more or less.
I mean, let's go ahead and start in the beginning.
Yeah, more or less. It started in the Bronx.
Started in the Bronx.
Bronx, Co-op City.
Co-op City.
I'm from Co-op City, born in Jacoby Hospital, grew up in Co-op City. It was, I guess, around the summer. I must have been about 11 or 12, so talking about 88, 89-ish, 88, 89-ish. Latifah used to stay in Co-op City with her dancers, the Safari sisters, Allison and Kika. So that summer, it was just an exciting summer. At the time, Live wasn't as big as she was now, but, Wrath of My Madness was big. But, Moni used to be over there, and then, Special Ed, EPMD, the Jungle Brothers, like everybody. It was just like the clubhouse.
Yeah, and, for those that don't know, like, Latifah was the first, like, I'm trying to think what I can compare it to. She was the first, like, kind of strong, pro-female,
she was the first
militant kind of artist.
Holding her own and not, selling pussy or
exactly. Does not sell sex.
Yeah.
Was like, I'm a strong black woman, and that's
like
what
ladies
I'm pushing.
First.
Ladies first.
She was pushing the movement.
Yeah.
She was pushing the movement early in the game, and big shouts to her and Sha. It was just amazing for me because you got to remember I'm probably 11, 12 years old, so these are the motherfuckers that's on TV that when I come home from school, I'm doing my homework watching their videos. This is a time when, Donnie Simpson, you was watching Video Soul for the 2 rap videos,
Mm-hmm.
I hope they don't show a whack one, you know what I mean? So it was like Latifah, MC Light, Special Ed, like these was like icons to me. So to be in their circumference, and then once I really started making the music to really be seen as a peer, it was amazing. But rewind a little bit. So through and my adventures in Co-op with them, I got introduced to Sha Kim and Baby Chris, rest in peace. And I really clicked with both of them. It just so happened Chris was from the Bronx, so we just happened to be running around a little more, and when he would be in the area, he would come get me. He'd be like, yo, what you doing? Come on, we'll take a ride. And, he might have me in the studio or here or there with Black Sheep or with Red Alert, Jungle Brothers doing whatever. Just bugging out, just taking me out of Co-op City, letting me see the world. And then it was a specific night. They did some show at the Apollo, and I think one of the Jungle Brothers missed his flight from London. So I was like, let me freestyle, because they was trying to figure out how they were gonna freak the show without Africa, and they was like, "You're not gonna be scared?" I was like, "Nah." I was scared to death though, but I made it happen, and they brought me out, and that's really how it started. When I came off stage, Chris was like, "Yo, I'm gonna sign you," and like a few weeks later, he, I guess, inked his deal with Relativity Records and his Violator imprint, and I was the first artist he signed.
Right, and Chris had a long history with the Native Tongues.
Definitely.
I mean, a lot of people look at him as the person who really put together the Native Tongues, like all the different factions.
But he really did. I mean, like Red Alert is like the grandfather, the godfather of it. But Chris really was the one that did the work. Like, you got to remember, he started from probably carrying records for Red Alert to road managing the Jungle Brothers to managing Black Sheep to managing Tribe. You know what I mean? So I feel like Chris is definitely the glue that linked us all together. Chris in that house in Co-op City.
Okay, so now you get signed as a 12-year-old rapper, basically, Chi Ali, and you're showing up on some things. I guess you showed up on Black Sheep's album, right? On
Past the 40, that was the first
appearance.
Yep. Via vinyl.
Yep. Black Sheep goes on. Choice is Yours is still being played to this day. Like one of the biggest hip hop songs ever.
I say it's top 10.
Top 10? Yeah, I would put it up there.
Top 10.
You play that song as a DJ. I would play that song anywhere in the world, and people go crazy. Like,
I give it top 10.
Decades later.
Eric B for president.
Yeah, it's up there.
It's a few.
So now you're rolling with really, I mean, one of the hottest, really the hottest crew at that time. It was almost like, if you compare it to this day, it would be like TDE or something. You know what I'm saying? Like just where everyone's popping and you got these big entities and, Tribe is huge and De La's huge and everything. So you signed this deal and you put out your first album. And the name of it was?
The Fabulous Chi Ali.
Fabulous Chi Ali.
Yeah, 92.
Okay. And you go on tour.
Went on tour with Criss Cross and MC Light, I think.
Oh, MC Light?
I believe Criss Cross and MC Light, my first tour.
And Criss Cross was going platinum
they were
at
huge.
The time.
Them and Jermaine Dupri, they were huge.
Huge.
They were huge.
What was it like? How old were you, 12, 13 at the time?
By then I was probably like 14, 15.
14, 15. And all these girls are going crazy. Like, were you having sex before these tours or no?
Yeah, I think I probably started having sex around the time that I probably started hanging out with them, because that's really when I started leaving the house on my own and with my friends and just going on adventures, be us walking the skate key late at night or whatever. But that's when when you start exploring with girls and feeling out your royal oats. So I was definitely starting to feel myself about that time.
Right, but when you're on stage on a tour, that's a whole different thing.
Yeah, I mean, for me, glad I had a blessed, like, I can't complain. My childhood was dope. I mean, I grew up basically, for the most part, girls was never a problem. For the most part, I would have, my choice of girls. For the most part, I didn't really ever like pay to get in the club coming up, or, just little shit that I probably took for granted but how could you not if that's all you knew? If you never experienced anything else, like, it's like, hey, like, nah, we don't really do that. Like,
Well, I mean, you're living the life.
It was dope. I mean, like my high school years, my teen years, I mean, my whole, that shit set up the pavement for my life. It's like, to this day, people, I mean, we doing an interview right now.
Yeah. Well, you do this first album, and for you, it was big, but commercial-wise, it didn't do huge numbers.
No, it sold about 150,000 copies, if I remember correctly.
Which, under today's standards, would be huge, but back then, everything's major label, everything's CDs.
Well, it's weird because, see, now they're not selling nothing, but at the time, it was a good first album. Like it was because at
Okay.
the time it was like, you know, you had groups like Gangstar who probably went gold on like their third or fourth album. So they
Okay.
were a group that probably sold 150, then 280,
Okay. So
360. So
the
at the time it was decent.
the label is still fucking with you though.
The label, when Chris left, he took Violator to Def Jam. The label had the option, and the label opted to keep me.
Okay.
But the thing was, Chris was their rap guy, and Chris was my friend. Like I didn't know none of them really.
So that's what happened with the second album.
Right. That's why, I mean, the second album we were actually recording. When we started recording it, Chris was still at Relativity with Violator. But by the time we finished, he wasn't. Because, like, the songs with Premiere, No Surrender, No Retreat, which you could, like, Google and hear. But, like, Chris set that up. I know that for a fact. Like, the label, like, that whole second album, even the joints I did with Clark Kent, everything was really on the strength of Chris. Chris or myself. It wasn't, they were like an alternative rock label. Like they had with Joe Satriani, and they weren't hip hop, so they didn't really know. They were delving into the hip hop field, and Chris was their guy. So when he left, it was like left me kind of like out there. And then my pops, who was managing me, he seen it as, well, if Chris is out the picture, we need to renegotiate because all his shit, we should be splitting. And they seen it as, nah, y'all wasn't getting it. But he was like, but y'all wasn't getting it either. So that shit turned into lawyer talk for 2 and 3 years. And at the time, I'm 17, 18, and my friends is hustling and doing different things. And I guess for a while, I delved into the streets, and I kind of was like, I don't know if I was pissed off with music. I felt like I had a second album to put out because the first album, I was so young. You know, probably 60% of it was written by different native tongue members. So it had my input and me on it and my writing, but not as much. And I was older, like my voice changed. I had some shit to say now. Like when you fucking 12, you ain't really got much to talk about.
Right. But you couldn't actually put out this album because it's wrapped up
in
lawyers.
Like it's wrapped up with my dad, and then it caused a lot of friction between me and my dad because, you know, at the time, I'm a young kid. I just want to rap, make videos, and be popping. But he's like, relax. Let's get the paperwork straight.
Okay, what ultimately happened? The album never came out?
The album never came out.
You were dropped from the label?
I mean, I guess at some point, I never really got a letter saying I was dropped.
Right.
I guess, I don't know, maybe it just expired through time. I don't know. I don't know. It's an excellent question. So but I know Sony, which owned Relativity, still owns all of that music.